Hey, top of the afternoon to you, good chaps. Mike Overson here with Luminate Home Loans. This is U.S. Home Talk, coming to you live from the great Midwest of the United States of America here. I was going more for the English, the Great Britain, fish and chips type of chaps comment. Did I pull it off or?
No, I was feeling more like piratey. It felt like a pirate.
Oh, more of a pirate. Okay, dang it! I got to work on my accent better then.
It was a little South African.
That's what it. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
I'll work on that. I'll polish that up for next time. Yeah, I'll do better next time. But this is U.S. Home Talk. What do we talk about? We talk about anything real estate and mortgage related, whether it's here in the Midwest, whether it's on the East Coast, whether it's, in a different country, which obviously we're probably not up to speed on the real estate market in other countries, but we'll certainly talk about it if that's what you want to talk about. We've tried to make this an interactive show, so we want you to join us either through text messages. The text message number is 612 234
7585.
612-234-7585. Or you can go on Facebook and type your question in the comment section, and we will answer that question or talk about the comments live on air here. Previous shows or joining us live, you can find us at ushometalk.com or on any podcast service that you have. So whether it's Spotify, I don't know, what do those Apple iPhone people use? What do they have?
It doesn't work.
I'm an Android guy, so I don't know all the Apple stuff. I'm sure the Apple has their own Apple podcasts or something like that. I'm sure they got their own.
iTunes, maybe.
Yeah, iTunes. There you go. Anywhere where podcasts are at, you're going to find us. So let's just stick with that.
We're not impressing Gen Z right now, I don't think.
No. Like, God, these guys are old. They don't even know what they're doing.
It's so true. Gen Z is all iPhones for sure. So before we get started, there's two things I want to just mention. One, I'm noticing Marcus has some new headset, new ear listening devices. These buds, those are pretty fancy. Is it pretty clear? They look good.
They are pretty clear. Yep. I do like them. They're wireless, which is nice, and they sound good. And
you kind of look like a Terminator with them on. I like it.
I thought you were trying to expand your earlobes with those black rings that they put in there to
the gauges.
Yeah, there you
go. No gauges for this guy today, but
right on.
So that looks good. And then Marcus, just tell us real quick. Tell us about the gong show that you experienced with flying back.
That's right.
Flying back from California.
Well, I don't know if you guys know, but there was an IT outage that happened in the early morning of Friday. And unfortunately, myself and my family were stuck in it. Kind of the first groups that got caught in it. So we end up having to deal with the entire from start to finish process and yeah.
How many days?
It wasn't very pleasant.
Extra? How many days extra did it take to get back?
We got home Monday morning. So
supposed to come home Friday, and you didn't get home until Monday.
Monday morning, yeah.
Did you just live in the airport for 2 days, or did you get?
So no.
I'm laughing because I know what it's like to be stuck in an airport with. So I was out in California, Sacramento. This is probably 8 years ago. So I was out there with Tani, and she was running at the Junior Olympics, and I had Joseph with me. He was maybe 3 years old. And our flight got canceled, so the three of us had to spend the night in the airport. I don't know how I ended up having a blow up mattress with me, but I did. So I blew up that blow up mattress, and Joseph just slept right on the floor in the airport. But it was not fun. It was not fun.
So yeah, I mean, there's the interesting thing about my situation was the airline that we were flying out of, it affected it affected their website as well. So like no messaging came out. You couldn't look for alternative flights. And you know, we were in a big airport. We were in LAX, and you know, we couldn't get past the checkout. We couldn't even get, excuse me, the check-in. So, you know, where you kind of your example, Jason, where you know you check in, and then you get to where your gate is, and then you find out, okay, well, it's postponed or whatever it might be. You know, the problem was we couldn't even get there. So there's no accommodations, you know, in that first stage of a large airport. It's you know, so there's no.
It's like you were in a prison.
No
Well, there's a
eating, no
concrete
restaurant.
floor.
Yeah, I mean, it was concrete floor. You know, there's no seating. I mean, it's the spot where people come in and get checked in to get, you know, to the TSA area, then to get in a little bit further. But we couldn't get there. So and then we couldn't get we had already checked out our rental car, but you know, a number of the rental businesses were down. And then the ones that were up, they sold out almost immediately. So while we were trying to figure things, and you know, we were there at 5 a.m. We got up, you know, 3:50 in the morning to get ready to go, you know, from where we were at to get to LAX, and yeah, it was crazy, man. It was something.
Yeah. And so for the listeners listening here, so the family of 5, right? And your 3 kids are what ages?
6'5"
6, 5, and 2.
Yeah, and
Stuck
a
in an
couple, you know, my wife's parents were with us as well, so it was the 7 of us, and
Oh, wow.
you know, it was a lot, man.
Hey,
It was,
you know what? More time to share your feelings with the in-laws. I mean, that's always an opportunity.
Yeah.
Oh, my you know, my feelings were shared with many people that day. So
Well, I mean, Jason and I had it rough this last weekend too. I mean, on Saturday we were at his lake house there, and we had a jet ski, and we had to go fishing, and we had to play catch the football and listen to tunes, and
We were-
and
What a shame.
We were
I
sweating.
mean,
What a shame.
Yeah.
It was a rough Saturday for us as well, Marcus. So I mean, we get it.
Also, my condolences to the people that are still dealing with this. There apparently, particularly with
Yeah.
Delta, there are still people waiting to fly home.
Delta,
Yeah.
Hey,
Unreal.
Evan,
Delta's
I'm
still
gonna-
struggling. So
I got an extra bark collar for you. I'm gonna go ahead and send that to you.
Nah, he's fine. It's the mailman.
Oh,
no,
man.
it
But
was, you know,
just-
one of those deals. You know, you just kind of got to roll with it, and we did our best, and here we are, Wednesday,
how to-
doing
shows
U.S.
how
Home
to-
Talk.
just shows how dependent we are on technology like that.
Big
I
time.
mean, literally, that goes down. What's the backup?
There apparently is
Nothing.
none.
There is none.
Well, there's a couple things that I took from it, right? I mean, I've been hearing that comment a lot. However, you know, we don't live in this utopian world where the world uses one company. I mean, you see that there's, you know, maybe a third had these vendors, a third had these vendors, and a third had these vendors. So, you know, in our situation, the third that was not affected, I mean, they were Southwest crushing it, flying off, no big deal. People laughing, high fiving. This is great times. You know, this is great. You know, no lines, don't have to deal with anybody. You know, the 2/3 of the people got out of their way. So I mean, they were loving it. You know, I think so that was interesting. I mean, the people who were not affected, I mean, it you know, it worked out well for them. For the rest of us, it was a struggle. So I don't, you know, I think that's, you know, if something like this does happen again, which I'm sure it will, it has in the past. You know, the people who aren't affected, they're gonna go about their business and about their lives as they normally would, and the ones who are, you know, you definitely struggle or suffer a little bit, but you know,
I
first
picture
world
Marcus.
problems no
Picture
complaints.
Marcus looking out the window at those Southwest flights going, just like the sad kid, like, bye.
It was very taunting, where we did end up. At the next place we end up having to stay for a couple nights. They did position us to where we did look out on the airport. So from Friday till when we took off, I did get to watch Southwest travel, every day. So it wasn't just those couple hours I was stuck at the airport. It was days that I was taunted about how nice it would be to fly home, but
Well, you got
It's
to
okay.
extend your vacation for a couple days, with your family. At least you weren't by yourself trying to get home. They haven't seen your family for a week or something. They were with you and, enjoying the experience with you. So that was good.
My two oldest, they didn't really seem to care much. Grandparents are retired, so it wasn't too much for them. The 2-year-old, she definitely was not, loving it, but obviously she's not going to remember it, so that's okay. But
Yeah.
so
Well, very
we
good.
are.
You made it back, so that's a good news. You made it back
I
in
was
time
like,
to join
hey.
our show.
Wednesday at noon was my hard deadline. I was
Yeah.
like, if there's something that I'll drive it if I have to. So, but here we are.
Nice. Well, our topic for today, real estate wise, topic for today is we're going to talk about the old 1-2 punch, right? The people that have a place to sell and then they're going to buy a different house. So you got a house to sell, you're going to buy a different house. What does that look like? When do you execute that 1-2 punch, right? Because typically if you're in that position, let's just say there's no time frame, right? Like we know we want to do this, we're going to do this. It's either going to be like today we're going to do it this year, or we're going to wait a year and do it. So what does that look like if you do the 1-2 punch today? What does it look like if you do it from a year from now? And is there a better route? I'll preface this by saying I don't think there's a right or wrong answer. I think based on your individual circumstances, it might be better for someone today to do the 1-2 punch. It might be better for someone to move down the road, but we're just going to talk about what that looks like if you did it today, and what that looks like if you do it from a year from now. And let's see if there's like a clear picture of you'll win more if you do it today versus down the road, or vice versa. So, and so I'm just going to lean on you guys for a lot of this. So let's just talk about, let's talk about selling today versus selling a year from now. What does it look like today? What does it look like a year from now?
So I think one of the biggest challenges and biggest objections for sellers, and this probably goes back the last 4 years, you go back to summer of 2020. The biggest challenge for sellers is I'm confident, Jason, I'm confident, Marcus, that you and your teams are going to be able to sell our homes for the estimated time and for the estimated price that you're giving me. So I'm confident in that. But the challenge is I can't list it and have you sell it because I don't have anywhere to go. And because inventory is low, and it has been for the last 4 years, it creates this, it was a big challenge, right? And most of those sellers were in a position where they didn't have the ability to buy the next house until they sold the current house. So they're kind of stuck. And so we're, we're trying to figure this out. We're trying to figure out solutions. And then this year, Mike and Luminate Bank came out with a program that allows sellers to buy now and sell later. And so that eliminates the number one challenge that we've had. So what that allows you to do is, okay, we can start looking now. It might take a month or 2 months or 3 months to find the house that you want. But guess what? When you do, we can write a non-contingent cash offer on the house that you want to buy. And so it's such an incredible program. And it really does eliminate 80-90% of the challenge that we've had with sellers over the years. And so that's been a game changer, Mike, you and Luminate Bank and having this program. But if somebody waits I think there's really good opportunity right now to buy. I think that the rates are decent. They're mid sixes ish, plus or minus a quarter depending on what you're doing. But I think rates are going to go into the fives. I think they're, whether it's going to be this fall, I think it's going to be this fall, but maybe it won't. Maybe it'll be winter or spring of next year. Folks, when that happens, I mean, they're estimating millions of additional buyers coming to the market. And your competition has increased, X-fold. Well, what does that mean? It means you're going to pay more for the house. It means that you're going to be in multiple offers, likely. You're going to likely pay more than what it's listed at, and you're going to get less seller concessions, so less potential closing costs, less repair requests on the inspection, and so I really believe that waiting to buy a home is going, if you're going to wait a year or you're going to wait 6 months or January, February, I believe it's going to cost you more money. And so, Mike, you and your company they've got a program to solve the challenge at hand. And I think that there's really good opportunity right now because the market's really good. Inventory is still low. But we're not seeing these mad, crazy multiple offers and perfect example. Let me give you a perfect example. Had a first-time home buyer over the weekend. A house in Bloomington came on the market, $369,900, completely redone. Great neighborhood in Bloomington. Was it a four or five bedroom? 4-bedroom, 2-bath, all redone. Great house, right? Came on the market on Saturday. We came in on Sunday, and we got that offer accepted at $375,000. And so we had to go $5,000 above, but this is probably the hottest. That price point is the hottest price point in the real estate market, and we secured it in 24 hours of hitting the market. You fast forward to rates drop into the fives, or you fast forward till these millions of buyers enter the market. That's not going to happen. You're going to pay $390,000, $395,000, $400,000. And so there's really good opportunity right now for buyers. You got to act. I think you got to act and not wait.
So on the buy side of things, so if we talk about what it looks like to buy now versus buy a year from now, I think you win by buying now, is what you're saying, right?
Yes.
Waiting is going to cost you more, and I think we spoke about that on several different shows. Waiting to buy is going to cost you more, so you win now if you buy now versus a year from now, because you're going to pay more for that house, is what it comes down to. On the sell side of things, though, what happens on the sell side of things, though? So if you sell your house today versus a year from now, what do you think that looks like?
Yeah, I mean, as far as listings go, I think next year we're going to have the same level of inventory, so I think inventory is going to be low in comparison to what we call a normal or balanced market. But again, that it's most of our sellers are also buying something, so you got to look at them both at the same time. I think that again, rates are going to be lower. I think that home prices are going to continue to increase. So there is that. But it depends on, are you got to move again? Or are you just selling and you're moving down south or whatever the case is? But the market is, the market's more of a seller's market right now. And so why not? And home prices are, higher than they've ever been in most neighborhoods. So why not take advantage of that opportunity?
Yeah, Marcus, what are you seeing down there? Are you seeing, you got to have a decent amount of buyers that are in the sell and buy type of category as well?
Yeah, our market, the Sioux Empire, kind of the Sioux Falls, South Dakota area, it's similar to like what the Twin Cities is seeing or like the Lincoln Omaha is seeing. We got high demand, we got low inventory. There's a lot of economical opportunity that's going on in our our markets. So there's no forecasting that there's going to be a downturn in terms of the value of real estate in our market here in the Sioux Falls market. And so when we talk about we're speaking generally speaking here, right? And I can't emphasize enough how important it is to sit down with your professionals and have the conversation with them. Don't wait until you're like, hey, we got to get this done in 60 days. Because there could be a lot of information to kind of take in, and the reason why I'm saying that is because here in my market, the Sioux Falls, South Dakota, the Sioux Empire, generally speaking, it's a seller's market. However, there are definitely price ranges where sellers are doing much better, and there are a couple of different price ranges like the luxury market where somebody could argue that it's very balanced, maybe even a buyer's market. So that is something to where if you are selling and buying, right, and maybe it's just a one step up. You might get beat up a little bit on the buy side, but you're going to do really well on the sell side. But if you're taking a big jump in either direction, then it's just, it's good to have that conversation with somebody who knows your market, to see, hey, is this something that is a win-win, or in some cases, it might be a lose-lose. Is, if you are selling a property where there is a really good inventory, let's just pick on luxury market again. Maybe there's a really good inventory there. Not as many buyers out there. A lot of sellers looking to get out because they see, maybe they kind of stretched their dollar a couple years ago, when everything looked very affordable, and now they're like, woo, we really bought at the high end of what we were approved for, and our wages haven't caught up with the cost of living, and they're looking to sell their luxury and drop down into maybe that second time move up market. They might need to take a little hit on the sell and pick it up a little bit and take a little hit on the buy side too. So, I mean, it's very specific to the individual. Don't hesitate to reach out and just say, hey, this is what we got going on. What are your thoughts on our specific situation? But in general, if you're selling and buying, you're likely only going to be doing one move up or one move down or something in that area. And then it's just kind of a wash, right? You're going to do really good on one side, and you're going to do, you might get beat up a little bit on the other side. But when the dust settles, you're going to be achieving what you want to do and in a good position.
Yeah, I think you definitely have to look at what market are you selling out of, right? So are you in that bread and butter? Are you in, like, in the Twin Cities area here? Are you in that, 250 to 400 market, and then you're going to be buying up in the 600 to 650 range? Or are you selling in the 6 to 650 range, and then maybe you're an empty nester now and you're downsizing a little bit, so now you're going down into the market? I think the way that you're moving as far as what your plan is here, I think that can certainly affect the decision making there, because like you said, Marcus, you're typically win on one side and lose on the other, right? But if you start crossing markets where it's like, okay, I'm going into a market where there's less competition, I'm probably going to win on the buy side there because of the less competition. And if you're selling in a price point where it's super hot, right? That's the price point that everyone is looking in at this point because it's affordable, or you're in a desirable area, then you're certainly going to win on the sell side of that piece.
Yeah, and just to kind of throw some numbers, and these are stats that are coming from the Realtor Association of the Sioux Empire that that owns our MLS, the multiple listing service. So the data is very accurate, in terms of that. And I'm just looking at inventory of homes for sale, and the over $1 million. We saw a 40% increase in inventory, comparing from June of 2024 to June of 2023.
Wow.
Okay, so then but a lot of the other price ranges below that are all negative. So if you're kind of selling, buying and selling, and specific price ranges. There's always exception to the rules, but generally speaking, if you're doing both, I wouldn't stress out about the situation and go chase your real estate goals.
Yeah, with those stats, if you're looking to move into that upper bracket with the inventory increasing, like now's the time to make a move into that upper bracket down there because of that inventory coming on. You got less competition.
That's what I would argue. I mean, if you're in a position to buy in that market, I would 100% agree with you, Mike. I mean, if you're looking to sell, if you're looking at, I'm just looking at the numbers again here. If you're looking to sell your home that's in the 700 to 800, well, that's down almost 16%. In that price range. So you're going to be able to sell it better today in the month of June in 2024 than you did in 2023. But then if you are jumping that million plus class, it's like, well, shoot, you're going to kill it on the sale and you're going to kill it on the buy-in. I mean, what a great opportunity to capitalize on that situation.
Yeah, and I think that's where your local market, working with a real professional in your local market to help you come up with those stats will help guide you on when you should do those things. Because that case, if I'm a move up buyer in Sioux Falls and I'm looking at that million plus price range, I mean, you got to do that now. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That's what I would do.
Yeah, and kind of going back to that example that we talked about, where you're just maybe making that first time move up. Looking at the 250 to 300 class, we're down. That class is down 13% in inventory. Is it likely a 250 to 300 class is going to move up to a 400 to 450? I mean, yeah, that's a pretty normal step up in purchase. Well, that's down 4% too. So it's like, you're going to do really well in the sale, and because the inventory is a little bit lower than it was a year ago in the month of June, you might have some competition on the buy, but it's okay because you outperformed on the sell side than you would have the year prior.
Yeah. So in there, does it really pay? Would it pay to wait? Probably not, because it's gonna be a wash at the end of the day. You make 20 more grand on the sale, you're gonna pay 20 more grand on the buy side. At the end of the day, it ends up being a wash. There's no reason to wait there unless the timing just works out better for you. But you can.
Well, you kind of get those individuals too, Mike, where they talk about, well, hey, I'm going to sell, I'm going to rent. I'm going to rent for a year or two, but I'm going to sell because I want to capitalize on that. But I'm going to rent, and then I'm going to watch the market and maybe buy in a couple of years. Well, I mean, we've done this on the show a number of times earlier in the year. I mean, the cost of waiting, right? The what you're going to lose an opportunity. And so if what you are plan on buying in 2-3 years down the road is going to be in that price range that just has been hot, not only in the last couple of years, but historically a really good price range for sellers, it's like, well, that's going to be a horrible move. You're going to be out tens of thousands of dollars if you were to make a move on that.
Yep, I agree totally there. Any other comments from you guys on this topic?
No, I think Marcus made a great point. So important to sit down with a top agent or team, top mortgage professional and team, and just talk about what your goals are, and start taking a look at what's going on in the market. Familiarize yourself with market conditions based on what you want to buy or sell, and put a plan in place. I mean, we talk about all the time. We whether you want to buy in 5 weeks, 5 months, or 5 years, or sell. We want to talk to you right now. We want to talk to you right now today. We want to get a plan in place, regardless of how far out that is. We can, the more time we have to plan, generally the more options you're going to have. Let's start talking about it.
Yeah, we appreciate everyone listening to our show today. So we are going to be back next week at noon. This is US Home Talk. You can reach us anytime during the week at ushometalk.com or our real estate hotline, which is 612-234-7585. I'm Mike Overson on behalf of Jason Walgrave and Marcus Walgrave. We appreciate you listening. We'll catch you next week.